Alright, today we're going to be looking at changing out the guns on the laser cleaning machine. We're going to be going from the 3-in-1 gun to the cleaning only gun. Looks fairly straightforward. You've got a connector here, and then this roll has 3 individual wires to pin out. Looks pretty straightforward. And you got your coolant lines here. Now I was worried at first about knowing which coolant lines to hook up because you've got your T here, or your Y rather. Another Y on this one, the blue one. The only one straight obvious is the blue one. However, on this side they did put writing. However, I cannot read it. However, I can match pictures. And these symbols match up with the respective lines on this side. I'm going to go with that as the way to put it together. I'm going to go gun side to gun side. They both have their labels. So this one looks like it has an E and an E on the end. This one has the same. So when I disconnect this side, I'm going to reconnect on the other end. I'm going to reconnect to this gun immediately. That way I don't get confused because the machine side is not marked. We've got these coolant hoses swapped over. Like I said before, just match the symbols to wherever they were on the old one. Keeps it simple. I got the blue line swapped over. Your coolant that's in these lines is going to drain out, so have a container below, let it drip on the floor, whatever your choice is. That's that. Got these zip ties off of everything so that this gun's ready to go. Take your back panel off. I've got 5 screws here. It goes in. I have already removed the Velcro cover that goes over it. It's probably the worst part of the project, as that's a lot of Velcro. All right, we'll get machine side. Trace your wires in here where they come down through. You've got this plug here, the CN3. These connectors are also marked on the new ones. You can just pull that cable out. Then you've got on this side, this block here, you're gonna have these 3 wires, or those colored wires on the other harness that we need to do. And then you've got this plug here. So you can just go ahead and unscrew this guy. And get that. Pull it out. You do have 2 plastic covers. One goes over here, one goes over here. I just laid them in the bottom to keep them easy to reference. Those pop off real easy. You just got to squeeze the tabs on each side and they'll come off. So you get that out and pull that up out of the way. I'll go ahead and unscrew these now. And I'm going to feed in the new wires just for this one. And I'm going to do these one by one, or you can take a picture of it and use that to reference to. And change those wires out one at a time. That way you don't get them messed up, or like I said, use a picture as reference. You can take them all out, pull all the cabling out at the same time. It's completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and get these wires and cables all swapped over, and then I'll start again. All right, got the wiring all swapped out in here now. Remember this connector, they give you the black one, so you can just pull it, cut your couple zip ties in here, and then fish that out up through the hole, through the back there. And got this cable swapped out. These wires done. I went ahead and undid the ground that's for this ground clamp here. I'll put it back on whenever I swap back to the welding gun, but for now I figured that's one less mess of wire hanging out the back of the machine. I can tuck that away safely in a drawer for now. A couple tips I give for swapping out the guns. The wires come all coiled up, as you guys seen. So I would go ahead and string those way out, get all your twists and turns out, because once you connect them into the machine, you're not going to be able to spin the gun to get all of those wires out, because you're going to have all 3 of them trying to fight each other. So get them all stretched out, get your coils out of it, cable nice and flat, then feed it in. Make sure you feed through your hole first. Don't be a dummy like me and feed 2 of the 3 and forget to stick it through there, so then you got to unconnect them, pull them back out, feed them in, get them through the hole first time, do it right. Then now what I think I'm going to do to make the next install easier is I'm going to go run probably every 4 or 5 feet, put some zip ties on these 4, your air line, your 2 coolant lines, and then your fiber optic cable itself. I'm going to put that in, that way it kind of separates those. And then I'm going to put a few ties probably every 5 feet or so again on these 3. That way it keeps the 2 bundles separate, so when it comes time to swap the cable out the next time, I can unpin from here and then pull it out, and then my 2 bundles will be separate, because what I fought this time getting the old cables out is they were wanting to intertwine on each other, so it's a pain in the butt to get 30 feet of cable 3 times undone. And so that's a couple tips that I'd give you guys. And now when we come back over here to these coolant lines, I did notice I made a little bit of a mistake on these lines here. There are these coolant lines where the fiber goes in. You've got your coolant lines on each side of this. Those were each tied into the T. So I'm going to end up having to pull the T off, and then instead of swapping that T, we'll put these lines back on the bottom side of the T's, and then we'll pull just the singular hose out, and then those will come when we go to do this. Let's see if I can unhook this. They give you a diagram on here. This collar here, you're going to turn it to the left. You can go counterclockwise with it. You'll see that gap shrink. And once it stops moving to the left, you can just pull it out by hand. That slides back. And then there you go. That's your power source. So you'll take that, swap it into the new gun, make sure you get your cap pulled off, your protective coverings all off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this in on that one. I'm gonna use both hands, so I'll set the camera down so that I can get that done. Get my coolant lines corrected. And then I believe from there, we'll be good to go. It's putting bundle wires back together, getting all the old out of the way, and then making the job easier, and then tackling the beast of Velcro. Should be fun dealing with the 30 feet of that. So I'll talk to you guys here in a little bit. All right, cables are now hooked up properly. Figured I'd give you guys a little demonstration of what I was talking about on keeping the bundles separate. Put some red zip ties on the lines that aren't going to change. That way I know I don't have to worry about touching those. And then on the cables that are going to change, put a green zip tie. Not only will this help keep the lines separate, you don't have to worry about them all twisting up on each other when you go to take them apart. When you go to roll them up now, you can roll them up as one. You don't have to worry about different bundles. You know that they're going to be in a line with each other. Yeah, it just takes a lot of the hassle out of switching back and forth if you're going to be doing that often. Nothing else, is just a convenience matter. Said I got them all straightened up all the way to the gun there. Got a block of wood underneath the gun, keep it out of the grass. Then just makes it nice and simple. And now put the Velcro wrap on it, and hopefully that doesn't go too horribly. Got the cable wrap fully installed. Protectors all the way back on it now. Hey, I think the cable ties definitely helped on that project. Not having to deal with the 6 different wires, or 7. If including the cable wires and the cooling lines and the fiber optic cable. Definitely having those in 2 bundles helped out a ton. I wouldn't make them super tight in case you have one cord that's a little longer, like one of mine was. So I just pulled the slack and stuck it inside the machine. This is also a good time that if you don't like the way some cables or anything are ran, like my signal cable that goes to the wire feeder, I didn't like the fact that it came out of the bundle like right here, and then it just went off to lay on the side somewhere. This airline, I didn't see a reason that it needed to come out of that wire bundle either, so I took that out, so it's just sitting inside there next to it. Didn't have to reroute it or anything like that. And then this signal cable, all I did was take it from, put it back inside of that hole, and then I pulled it back out that one. That way it's completely there. And I think what I'm going to do with it, since I've just got the cleaning head on, I'm going to go ahead and roll it up or fold it up somehow, put a cable tie on it, and I'm probably going to stick it through the majority of the way through one of these holes. It'll kind of act as a makeshift holder for it, and then I don't have to worry about it flopping back here or sitting on the handle or anything weird like that. It'll be tucked away in its own little environment there right behind the laser, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. Overall, very simple process. Now I'll get the generator fired up, get this turned on, and make sure I've got all the connections good and it's working. Past that, I'll get to go. I think I still need to get with Pascal and have my machine updated to the 300mm setting. Right now it only says 150 on it. I highly doubt when I've turned the machine on that it's going to update itself to match the new gun. But past that, we'll see if I got everything hooked up right and be good to go and clean away at 300mm rather than 80.